Hi, brothers and sisters. This is Mary Hernandez with Genesis Kingdom. And I'm going to start off with keys, what keys means in your calling. For those that you've been ripping and sewing for your vision to bring it to pass, it's you that's going to bring it to pass and keep speaking it into existence. You hear people say, it's in your future, it's all here. Just say it's today the day, God. Heaven on earth, that the battle's already been won. You set beauty for ashes. Breakthrough is coming. Always sit there and speak it into this existence, and don't listen to the naysayers. You're still going, they're not. Okay? So that means they finished and they got where they needed to get at. You continue. They got to where they needed to get at and continue. So I had a vision when I was out there 3 years ago, or 2.5 years ago, give and take, when I was in Mount Sinai, and I told you why I called it Mount Sinai, because the ones that man married, they were going to that church. And it was called Mount Sinai. It was called Sinai. Anyways, this was like witches and warlocks, and whatnot. And one of the visions that I had came out, because I was always reading out there where the public school library was at. They had a real beautiful setting outside, a little park area, a bench area, kind of like what I do out here. And in that vision, I came out, and this man comes up to me, and he says, "You want the keys?" And I go, "I want the keys." He goes, "I want the keys." He goes, "You want the keys? It's yours." I go, I'll take the keys. I was like, keys. Even though, like, you're thinking actual keys, okay? It was a metaphor. I didn't have the revelation, brothers and sisters. I really didn't. And I was like, I'll take the keys. And he came and he brought me the keys, and I was holding the keys in my hands. I go, I got the keys. And I woke up that morning. I was so happy. I didn't know what it meant. All I know is that I got the key for the kingdom. That's how I took it. This is how I really, really spake into it. So that morning I go out and I pray, and then I come up to Mark. Can I say Mark? Okay. So I came up to Mark, and I'm like, Mark, because he had me plugged in, and it was him and this other guy that was out there. And I plugged in, there was like a little box that you could plug in and charge your phone. And he was like, "Can you plug that in?" And then it came to my mind, and I said, I got the keys. I got a vision, and I got the keys. And I seen both of them look at each other like, dude, like she's got the keys, almost like, dude, like she's waking up, like kind of looking at each other like that. And I'm like, I got the keys. And that was that, okay? I didn't understand the whole revelation of it, but I was like, I got the keys to the kingdom. And that's what I'm thinking. Didn't know how or what, all entitled. And then one of the locations that we got at, Latoya was like, use your keys, baby. Use your keys. And I was all like, I am using my keys. I am speaking into existence. I am, doing everything. She goes, they're your keys. Use your keys. And I go, I am. I'm speaking into existence. I'm doing everything. I was like, don't confuse me. I go, don't do that, because you're confusing me. And it was nothing that she was doing bad. I just didn't understand it. So not understanding what it meant. And I'm like, I am speaking into existence. I got the keys, because it's always spiritual before it comes to your hands, right? Visual, believing God and your power of prayer, because you're the one that's going to bring your vision to pass, right? You and the power of the Most High God and prayer. Now, you giving the key to somebody else is a big, big no-no. In the Bible, it tells you Jesus is the stone that the builders rejected, that became the head of the cornerstone. There's no salvation in no other name. It says that name wasn't given to no one under and to no mankind, which we must be saved. That's in Acts 4, Bible verse 10 and 11. Meditate on those ones, brothers and sisters. Say your lamb is the daughter. That's the key. And the key is you giving it to the right person. Okay, they bring you idols and you're at the idol feet while you're entrusting that person with that key. Okay, so when she was saying that, I really was like, I don't get it. I don't get it. You know, so I said, stop doing that to me. And I remember other people going, don't let him use you as if you're a rookie, you know, you've been going through this. And I was like, well, I didn't understand it, you know. So I was like, I don't know. I'm doing everything that I'm asked to do, like in the spirit, reading the Bible and everything, right? And then I ended up looking up. I had a second vision. And on the second video, I'll tell you about the second vision of the key. And a vision that I had was like so real. And so on video 2, I'll share that revelation of the key. Okay, this is key part 2. Let me just write my note. Part 2 of keys in building. And keys. All right. So when I went to go look up Bible definition, let me see one. Oh my goodness. Use your key. What the key meant. I share with you Acts 4, Bible verse 10 and 11. And this is when I finally got the revelation, and I was off the idol feet. Well, I didn't know I was, because you're reading off of the Bible, and not having understanding in the Bible had a big influence in it, right? So listen to what this says, brothers and sisters. Keystone, right? Key is a very main thing for everything. So what does the key symbolizes in the Bible? Smith Bible Dictionary, key. Keys, right, were sometimes used of bronze, iron, so large that one was as much as a man could carry. Key. They are used in Scripture as a symbol of authority and power. Giving the key to a person signifies that you're entrusting him with an important charge, right? And this is where the women go, say he, say father, say son, say this. I mean, Jehovah, all these are idols, brothers and sisters. Over and over again, the Bible tells you about idols. They are about men. Acts 4:10-11. Meditate. It tells you that name, Jesus, Jesus was the stone that the builders rejected. Say, Mother, God, your daughter, because we came from the womb. Your daughter, the Lamb, was the one that sacrificed ourselves for me, my whole family, this whole world, this whole nation. The Lamb, Jesus, change it to she. Take it out of that he theology, because this is what had us in captivity. So what is bronze and iron and all that? The men were making up idols. The god of gold, the god of silver, the god of bronze. Is that in the Bible? Yes. It tells you that. Okay? In Daniel 5, if you go read Bible verse 1-4, really if you read all of it. But in Daniel 4, it tells you, what Nebuchadnezzar kicked out my mother's children out of where we were at, kicked them out. And then he came up, right? So after after Nebuchadnezzar died, Belshazzar, aka Daniel, took over. That's in Daniel 5. So then Daniel was like, my dad kicked his people out, but I need them. I need them to bow down to me. For them to bow down to me is the only way I could prosper in the way, is because we're ripping and sowing what? For our vision to come to pass. But when we were idolizing, we were giving him the key. Whatever idol that we're making up, whatever idol they were giving you, you were giving them the key. And when the time came that we had of Jubilee, we weren't getting it. And then you see them getting it, and you're kind of like, these people are sinning. These people are not doing your will, Mother. Why are they getting it? because you were like, oh, David, the key of David, the key of this, the key of that, everything but the truth. The truth. This is when it pivot, getting off the man idol, the beast system, BS, it pivot everything, right? So then it brings us to Matthew 2:49. Then shall they deliver you up to be afflicted, and they shall kill you, and you shall be hated of all nations for my name's sake. You know, I think I heard a man talk about, you know, why is it that this person goes everywhere and he or she is hated everywhere? She said, you're going to be hated for my man's sake, for my name's sake. You're going to be hated because I tell you the truth. Amos 5. You read it throughout the whole Bible, brothers and sisters, because we're speaking the truth. These people made themselves ruler over us. As a matter of fact, when you read Daniel 5, it says the king, the prince, the concubines, the queens, the golden and silver vessel were kicked out. That's in Daniel 5. They were kicked out, and then he called them and said, bow down to me. And they bowed down to him. They bowed down to him. A king, the queen, and our sons and daughters bowing down to somebody that has no authority over us. No authority over us, but because nobody's preaching to you the truth, how you could deliver yourself, we're stuck. Almost like going in circles, and you're kind of like, wait a minute, I'm doing everything right, God. Why is everything the same? Because the key was a main factor. You know, and when LaToya was saying that, it wasn't that I was irritated with her at all. It was because I didn't know what it all meant. I was like, I got the vision, and then I'm using the key, and I'm speaking it into existence. I'm believing God for it. What do you mean key? She said, it's you. It's use your key. And I was like, I am, you know. And then I got frustrated, and I remember her saying, okay, you could do it your way, you know. And it wasn't nothing towards her. I just didn't understand it. I didn't understand it. And then I was like, I thought I was doing everything right. And here somebody's telling me I'm not. Like, what is it? And then you get scared. Then the fear does come in. And I know that God doesn't give you the spirit of fear. But in the not knowing, well, wait a minute, I thought I was doing this right. What is it? What is it that I'm doing wrong? Over and over again. So then it brings us into Daniel 2:49. Okay? I just read to you, I think it is 2:49. Because I have Matthew 2:49, Daniel 2:49, and I'll double check it. I didn't send it to me. I left it in the phone that I'm recording from. But in Daniel 2:49, then Daniel requested of the king, and he set Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego over the affairs of the province of Babylon. But Daniel sat at the gate of the king. Get it? He had a key of a king, father, son, me as a king, first is Daniel. And in Daniel 5 tells you they had everybody bow down to him as he was God. He wasn't. So what did he have? He had a key at the gate. So I could refuse entrance to you. And because I have you believing that I'm a king, that I'm in authority over you, well, you couldn't enter. I'm not going to let you. Why should I? Why am I going to let you enter when I'm a king here? Why are you going to come in here as the daughter and the son of the Most High God? Why am I going to let you enter? Come on. Read it. Ezra 4:13. This is the main reason why they're doing it. Write it down, pounder it anytime you hear father, son, king this, king that. Lies, 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 and lies. Ezra 4:13. Be known now unto the king that if this city be built and the walls are set up again, then will they not pay toll or tribute or custom, and those shall endamage the whole revenue of kings. It's going to destroy everything that we've been saying about a king, father, son, and we mingled it with them along the way. We crossed paths with these people. We mingled it. It tells you that in Daniel 2. Well, that's the beast system, my sisters. That's the beast system. And it tells you that we're widow women on the way. Joshua 8, Bible verse 35, on the way home. Get it? On the way to the promised land to bring in everything to pass. And that's the truth. The key was the main factor in everything. The key factor is period. Get it? So it said if they build his walls and knowing that it was never a king, it was the daughters, it was mother and daughter, daughters, queen, mother, brothers and sisters. It was always. There is no throne without them. Get it? They're that important and you just did not see it because you were too busy at the idol feet. Then you got the wicked people that were on there, and she tells you if they were on the throne, then they were never for us, because they had been for us, they would have continued with us. And half of this people, as I told you, they lost the throne already. They lost the throne. Listen, what Colossians 2:18 says. And I made little side note that says, this is how the man has been able to break in as a thief in the night. And I will come as a thief in the night. And I really thought about it, like, what does that mean? That I'm going to come as a thief in the night. Well, you're not a thief. We're not a thief. You know, like, I don't get it. You get it now? Ripping and sewing, right? Listen to what Colossians 2:18 says. Let no man beguile you of your reward, involuntary humility and worshiping of angels, intruding into those things which he had not seen, but vainly puffed up in his fleshly mind. Get it? This is where they say, oh, it's a king this, king that, like Daniel, David, all that. They were made rulers over us. This is where you said, oh, they were ruling over Israel. They were ruling over Israel. It's your throne. It's your inheritance. Why? Because you were bowing down to a king. That's the beast system, which they were no kings. They weren't anointed. They were never appointed. You were giving them the key. So listen to what Colossians 2:22 says. Which all are to perish with the using and after the commandments and doctrines of men. They know that. They had the key to send you the wrong way. The key was a main factor, and you hear it throughout the whole Bible, how even people that you thought they were for us were never for us. They would say, let us set up a king over Israel, over Judah. Let's set up a king over them, and that way we'll vex it. Get it? And we'll continue ruling over them. It's all in there. This is the key that they have been able to use against us, and why it stood like we were just going in circles and circles and kind of like that. Get it? They knew that. They didn't want you to make it. Get it? I do. At the end, you choose. But in the Bible tells you, I believe it's Revelation, I'll try to find it, where it tells you, that they all come back redeemed from men. Get it? That was the beast system. This is your throne. It's your inheritance, your heritage. And when you put a king over it, you're giving him everything that you've been ripping and sowing. You've been ripping and sowing in tears. We shed blood for it. Like, we gave up so much to answer this call. And you want to give him a key? Along this journey, you've seen that they did nothing but try to stop you, using those wicked women that were with them too, to try to stop you when the truth is all there. You get it? Listen to what this says. Isaiah 22:22. And the key of the house of David I lay upon his shoulder, so he shall open and none shall shut, and he shall shut that none could open. Why? Because you were giving him the key. Oh, it's King David. Well, David thought, shut that door. Don't give it to him. Get it? This is how this wicked people were doing it. Daniel 5:4, and they drank the wine, and they praised the gods of gold, silver, brass, iron, and stones. 2 Samuel 3:13, to translate the kingdom from the house of Saul, to set up the throne of David over Israel and over Judah, from Dan even to Beersheba. Get it? So every time the key was going to everybody but you. You get it? This is what you had a king over us. We had a king in our throne. And it tells you that in Revelation 9, Bible verse 11. They had a key to the bottomless pit because you were giving him the key, exalting him. So he'll be like, say, shut that door, don't do this, don't do that. And you were giving him the keys. This is what it says. Open the windows of heaven and I'll make sure that you get nothing. I will not open the storehouse of heaven and pour down no blessings that you cannot contain, because you were entrusting him with it. So he thought, why am I going to sit there and give you something? Even though it's yours, but because you're entrusting him with that key, whatever pagan, no-name demon you were putting is why they were. And this is really where you get the woman say he, say father, say son. And it's like, you liar. They're liars in wait, sisters. And who is the victim? Each and one of you's daughters of the Most High God that have been waiting and believing God for it. And you're ripping and sowing. And when the time came for Jubilee, you got nothing. You got to listen. You're supposed to get destiny helpers as you're going along the journey, right? And that's the way they could prosper. Bless him that blesses you. Curse him that curses you. Your vision is yet for an appointed time. Habakkuk 2, Bible verse 3. At the end, it will speak and not lie. Though it tarry, wait for it. It will surely come to pass and not tarry. Not too early, not too late, but an appointed time. Keep speaking it there to get you to get off your course, but them coming against you is actually saying, keep going, keep pushing. Who cares if you're not liked? Who cares? Like, come on. You're going to be sitting fat in the palace with states and cities and vineyards that belong to you, that have been taken away from a long time ago because of a key that we didn't know how to use. Get it? The truth. And then what this says. So, key meaning Bible definition reference. What does Isaiah 22 and verse 22 mean? The Lord declares his intention to grant authority. They were trying to put another king over you, but listen to what it says so you could understand what the key means. And I told you, I know that LaToya meant it for good, but I didn't understand it. So I was like, stop doing that. And I'm glad, even though I can't, I still hadn't gotten the full revelation of what the key meant. I was all like, God, help me. Like, I'm doing everything right. And, people took their time to at least try to direct you in the right way. And I want to use also that key to help you get you in the right way. That would help me in this journey. Listen, and I thank her. I really do. So what does Isaiah 22 verse 22 mean? The Lord declares his intention to grant authority to Eliakim, the new steward of what? King's court. Didn't we not say that? Who also had a key for King's court? In Ezra 4:13, Daniel. He had a key to the King's court. He, father, son, the pagan, whatever, no-name demon in Daniel 5. Come on now, somebody. Do you get what is going on? What does Isaiah 22:22 mean? Jesus, the cornerstone. What does Isaiah 22 verse 22 mean? The Lord declares his intention to grant authority to Eliakim, the new steward of King's court, the man of God and the father figure of a nation that will wear the key of the house of David. As the modern ceremony, this may be involved a physical. It says that this may involve a physical item representing authority. Get it? Because I remember I told you, I was like, that man was all like, you want the key? And I was like, I'll take the key. You're giving me the key? I'll take the key. I'll take the key. And he gave me the key. I had it in my hand. So God was detouring me in the vision, even though I did not understand it. And then when I heard LaToya say, use your key, I was like, like, I don't get it. And I was like all upset. But not at her, it was like in me not understanding. And I was like, wait a minute, I don't get it. I don't get it. Get it? And this is what the key means. And there's more. There's so much more. So I'm going to do the part of the vision in video part 2. But this is what's tearing down the beast system of the man Jesus. Do you understand? And bringing you that the lamb was always a daughter, and sisters. And we were given the key to a beast system, where he had the keys to the bottomless pit. Because what did it say in Colossians 2:22? Which all are to perish with the using after the commandments and doctrines of men. Over and over and over. In Mark 7:7, you worship me with your mouth, but your heart is far from me. You do it with the traditions and the doctrines of men. I give you the victory and you don't even know me. You don't even know me. Get it? This is the key. The truth. We were given that key and believing, oh, Abba, oh, Abraham, oh, King David, oh, this, oh, yeah. And remember I told you, like when I had heard about the key in Mount Sinai about David. And I did hear the announcement that they have gotten there with the Ark of the Covenant. And I was like, whoa, right on. We've been ripping and sowing. Blessings are going to come right here. We had that. Nothing. 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 Get it? Why? Because we're entrusting them with the key. And them, the beast system, along the way stopping. Even going and having people help me out, they would go over there and try to stop them from people helping me. I even went as far as cleaning an elder's lawn, going and working on somebody's garden, and I was like, I'm but don't get me wrong, I'm ripping and sowing for mine. Hallelujah, the land of the living. And it tells you that they were trying to stop the Israelites in Psalms 83 from building that. And what does it say? My sisters, let this sink in. Yeah, in Colossians 2:18. Let no man beguile you out of your reward in voluntary humility and worshiping of angels, intruding into those things which he had not seen, and vainly puffed up in his fleshly mind. Get it? And why were they trying to stop you and try to give you a king, a father, and son? I still don't up until now, but I'll read to you what Daniel 5 did say. And it tells you the widow woman is the woman with our children on the way to the promised land. Joshua 8, Bible verse 35. Numbers 16, you could read it all. And every time they kept exalting a prince, a king, a father, no-name demons over and over. And it's the queens, the real queens. The ones that had a husband, the ones that had all that, those are the ones that were the beast system, that were at the idol faith, willing to say that he is God. And they're not. They're not anointed. They're not appointed. You are. So your vision, bring it to pass. And them coming against you, them talking shit and being naysayers, should tell you you're on the right path. Keep going. And let it, I'm going to close this one with Daniel 2. Then Daniel requested that the king has set Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego over the affair of the province of Babylon. But Daniel sat at the gate of the king. So this is where you get the king's court. Get it? When I did this one, I'm only going to put the Bible verses that I put on there. But it says the spiritual significance. Oh, sorry. And this is where, in their eyes, as I did this whole, I want to use just this part right now. I'm going to go deep and then preach to you everything and what I got from it, and the airplanes and parallel lanes, the way we were, because some of us were going in, all of us were in the wrong direction, period. We were. Okay. And then some of us got that aha moment and kind of like, wait a minute, something ain't right here. And then we got that spiritual awakening. We answered the call. We picked up the Bible, got the revelation, and then had to work on getting the understanding, because we didn't have it. It's someone to, yeah, I knew it. No, it took a lot of time for me and for others to come to the understanding. The evil people that got the understanding, they didn't want you to know the truth. They want you to stay at the idol feet. Father, Son, he. And then you're ripping and sewing, and you see people getting blessed, and you're kind of like, wait, God, what happened here? And I get it. For the longest time, they got away with it, and they built whatever, out of you, ripping and sewing, because they didn't work. You did it. All they did was preach a lying doctrine or whatever, no-name demon that it was. Get it? And we're reading, so we were giving it to them, and this is how they prosper. I'm not giving them no energy anymore, so everything. And me being able exposes the liars. Get it? Like the one that talked about in Ethiopia, that they would bow down to the Antichrist. And he was there, and he was bragging all over, because he's known, he's well known. And he was bragging on there, oh, Ethiopia, oh, look at what God did for me, oh, and he's preaching him as God. Do you get it? And this is recently, this is a church that is out there. I just can't say it. But I think and just pay attention. These are the people that are the Antichrist, preaching to them as God and sending you in the wrong way. This is where they have the gates. At the gates, they're giving you a key, and then you're saying, oh yeah, king. Go ahead and go the wrong direction. Get it? Put the veil on. Hey, it's a king. Father, son, yep, go ahead. Boom, wrong direction. But if I have the key and I want you to enter, I'm going to remove that veil, and I'm going to tell you the truth. It's a daughter. The Holy Trinity is mother and daughter. The Holy Spirit are one. Her spirit, that breath life into her daughter. It wasn't a man that died on the cross. It never was. Get it? So this is what would happen. And this is why they're able to get, and we're sitting there just waiting, and we're like, really, God? And you can't tell me that you weren't, because I know I was. I was like, man, what is going on here? And even though I was expecting destiny helpers, and wherever company that you get put in, they get blessed while you're there, the spirit, because you're ripping and sewing, for them to multiply their blessings, to turn around and they see you going through hard times and say, here, Mary, whatever it is, that they help you and provide you, that blessing multiplies for them. This is where it said, bless him that blesses you, curse him that curses you. Get it? And some didn't. I would hear that they were doing it to other people, but for some reason for me, it was like, no. But at the end, I had a very hard life. I've had a struggle as a single mother on and off that I learned to endure. You learn to be happy when you have, and you learn to be happy when you don't. Well, that's how I always have, dealt with life, endured. So they weren't doing anything me different than what I had been through. Get it? And you see the same people. Let me see. So Jesus is the cornerstone or the keystone. Get it? Jesus is both the capstone and the cornerstone in our lives. In Psalms 118:22, as the cornerstone, he provides stability and support. Everything else feels shaky, but as a capstone, he holds the broken pieces together, completes what is unfinished and imperfect. Get it? Christ, the capstone and the cornerstone. This is the conclusion biblical, meaning that the airplanes encompass the things of the transcendent trust of divine protection. And for those of us that weren't bound down to the beast system, we had it hard. We did, but that actually saved us. Or we wouldn't have been able to continue on this path. We already had been taken out a long time ago. And for some of us that seen that, you seen kind of like their faces when they would see you come out of a season that was meant to destroy you. It's just amazing revelation, So I'm going to post, just give me a minute, because I ended up writing down the Bible verses, but I want you to meditate on it and let it ponder and let it understand what it is, why it almost looked like we were going in circles, and why we weren't prospering, do it. Speak the truth. The Lamb is a daughter. The Holy Trinity is Mother, Daughter, and Holy Spirit. This is where they changed it to Father and Son, and it changed everything, the whole trajectory from the beginning of the world. And sisters, even in Genesis 11 was when they cost a brick for a stone. Let us burn them, so we would change. Because the bowing down or whatever, and even if we didn't bow down, they would still take over that city, and they did the utmost to my mother's children throughout this journey. And I would hear some things, and at times this is why I wouldn't get and watch TV, because it destroys you. It does, and that's what they want, because you almost feel like, what is it? Why is it that they continue to do evil? Because at the time when we would idolize them, they had the key, so they could come in and take territory. They could come in and destroy your city and anything. And you put a cloud, that means you end up putting another person on top of the God of heaven, our mother and her daughter, because she breathed life into this daughter. So then that gives them permission, the key, to come in, and they were doing the utmost. And when they did, and they started taking it violently and evil, really pay attention. And this is stuff that's been going on throughout this journey. And all it is, they're trying to break in right now by trying to bring you a husband, father. Remember, you're not going to be, the bride thing was all a thing to put you in slavery. Remember that. Remember that. Don't let it. Get it? Well, I'm going to post this up, and I'm going to do part 2. And part 2 is going to tell you about my vision. I just have to find it real quick about the key. Sorry. You okay, Violi? You okay? What happened? Okay, let me definitely check on the dog. But I hope, I'll write this down. Give me a minute to post it. And then that way I could do video 2 of the second part of key. And then I'm going to go over Zerubbabel and what that means. And from the very beginning, when it went into Babel, from Shadrach to Babel. Get it? And they had another person that was going, I'll just wait until I read it to you. And the offset of Zerubbabel is also Iran. And it says the forgotten story of what that means. And they had somebody that was there posing as she was, I'll just read it. I'll read Zerubbabel. I'll do the key part 2, and then I'll do Zerubbabel. And then I'll do one of Iran, so you could understand what that means. And this is from the very beginning, because it was a daughter that was the heir. Daughters, and the daughters were being, this is the widow women and the fatherless that were being deprived. From in Amos 5, when you read it, where she tells Joseph, hey, you build some lavishless vineyards and house stone. She said, but you're not going to eat from them. You're not going to sit there and eat that wine. Make it right at the gates, and I'll be easy on your raiment. That's in Amos 5. And I'll post that on there too, but you could go and read it all. Put that towards the very end, so you could read in Amos when they were making up pagan gods. They're no-name demons. This is what's going to save this whole world, this whole nation. We're getting saved. The book of life was written. Are you in that book of life? And this is where it says, fight for your sons, fight for your wives, fight for your daughters, and fight for your houses. They've been passing that blessing to that man, that beast system that never belonged to them. But because you're not in there digging the truth, that's why everything's still the same. Get it? This is where you had to change, and it pivot everything. So give me a minute to post that up, and then we'll start off with part 2s of keys and the vision. Okay, thank you.